I order the Sergeant at Arms to ring the bell for another 5 minutes. Sergeants, confirm to me whether we have the quorum. Okay, thank you. Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
There is a communication. Honorable members, I recognize 101 students from Kiranda Girls Primary School in Nyatike Sub-County in Migori County, accompanied by their 10 teachers, namely Sister Monica Awino. Thank you. Sister Celine Indende. Philly Ocheng. Alila Eric. Sister Donata Akinyi. Anthony Ojola. Owiti Eric. Dennis Onyango, Caleb Kagose, Duklex Odira. In our tradition of recognizing and welcoming visitors, I take this opportunity to welcome you all to County Assembly of Nakuru. Feel welcome. Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
No messages.
Order number 4, petitions.
Honorable members, we have a petition by the Nakuru Saloon and Barbers and Beauty Association urging the County Assembly to investigate the companies involved, that is Angels and Rush companies, for operating an irregulated business within Nakuru County. I commit this to the Chair Trade Committee. Chair Trade Committee, Vice Chair, Any member of the Trade Committee? Okay, thank you. You have 60 days to respond to this petition. Petition number 2 is petition by Laban Omusudi, a resident of Nakuru County, urging the County Assembly to amend the Standing Orders Section 67 to include impeachment of County Secretary, Chief Officers, Public Service Board, and any other person. I commit this to Jailak, Chairman Jailak. You have 60 days to respond to this. Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
No notices of motion. Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Honorable members, we have some statements pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 47-2C. The following members have requested for statements from the respective chairpersons. Honorable George Nene.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order number 47-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson Committee on Health Services regarding the operationalization of Muthaiga Dispensary, Elementaita Ward. Honorable Speaker, health is a devolved function pursuant to the 4th schedule of the Constitution. Regarding this, the county government has endeavored to actualize this through refurbishing and construction of new health facilities or dispensaries. This has created a positive impact in healthcare provision to the residents across the county due to decentralization of services to the smallest unit of devolution. Honorable Speaker, the Muthaiga Dispensary was constructed and fully equipped but not staffed. The delayed operationalization of this dispensary has denied the area residents to access good health care service since they are forced to seek in other facilities. Honorable Speaker, in view of this, I wish to request the Chairperson Committee on Health Services to give a detailed response on the following. 1. Whether the department is aware that Muthaiga Dispensary has not operationalized due to lack of staffs. 2. The measures or strategies the department has put in place to ensure the dispensary is fully operationalized. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That statement stands committed to the Committee on Health. Chairperson, you are required to give a response to that statement within the next 14 days. Honorable members, there is also another statement by Honorable Isaac Rotok.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Pursuant to Standing Order number 47-2C, I raise to request for a statement from the Chairperson Committee on Trade, Tourism, Cooperatives, and Planning regarding the organization, operationalization, launching of the Olorongai Market. Honorable Speaker, the Olorongai Market was completed and handed over by the contractor 4 years ago. Section 102E of the County Government Act emphasizes the need for the county government to promote social and economic development and the provision of proximate, easily accessible services through Kenya. The continued non-commissioning of the Olorongai market contravenes this fundamental principle, thereby denying the people of Menengai West Ward access to vital economic opportunities. Mr. Speaker, in January 2024, I endeavored to mobilize the community and engage interested vendors with the hope of expediting the market's commissioning. However, I was met with disappointment upon realizing that it was not within my authority or mandate to carry out this task, a responsibility that rightly lies with the county government under the provision of the County Government Act of 2012. Honorable Speaker, this matter warrants immediate attention to resolve the community's concern and ensure the market serves its intended purpose without further delay. I trust that the committee will take the necessary steps to address this issue and hold the responsible officers accountable. Mr. Speaker, given the significant delay and the adverse impact on this local community, I hereby request the Chairperson Committee of Trade, Tourism, Cooperative and Planning to provide a detailed explanation and update the status of the Olorongai market and the reason for the prolonged delay in its commissioning. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you. This statement is committed to the Committee on Trade. Chairman. Vice Chair. You are expected to give a response to this statement within the next 14 days. There is also another statement to be made by Honorable Alex Bor.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order number 47-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Committee on Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperatives concerning the construction of Chebitoik, Tumoyot, and completion of Chematich tea buying centers in Kiptororo Ward in Kuresoi North Sub-County. Honorable Speaker, agriculture remains the backbone of the Kenyan economy and a devolved function under the second part of the second schedule to the Constitution 2010 in a bid to caution farmers and increase productivity. The county government, through the Ward Kitty, has earmarked various development programs, including construction of tea buying centers in tea growing areas. Honorable Speaker, the above tea buying centers project in Kiptororo Ward were allocated 2.14 million in the financial year 2021-2022. And up to date, they have not kicked off, and this challenge has resulted in returns delay in the investments. I therefore request the Chairperson Committee on Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperatives to issue a statement on the following. 1, whether the Department of Agriculture, Livestock, Fisheries and Cooperatives is aware that Chebitoik, Tumoyot and completion of Chematich tea buying centers have not been rolled out. 2, measures the department has put in place to ensure projects are completed within the minimum time possible. 3, the department to issue timelines in which the construction of the above projects will be done. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Chairman or Chairperson Agriculture. Vice Chair. This statement is committed to the committee, and within 14 days, you're supposed to give a response. Honorable Alex, you have another statement. Carry on.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Pursuant to Standing Order number 47, 2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Committee on Roads, Transport and Public Works concerning the status of Mutapa Githima and Githima Kamobi roads in Kiptororo Ward for the financial year 2021-2022. The county government is mandated through the 4th schedule to construct county roads. The county government of Nakuru has realized this through the Imarisha Barabara program. This has improved accessibility within the rural roads, hence facilitated better connectivity within the county. To boost the program, respective elected members through their ward kitties have allocated funds for construction of various roads within their areas of representation. Honorable Speaker, Mutaba, Githima, and Githima Kamobi roads were programmed for construction in the financial year 2021-2022 for a budget of Kenya shillings 2.91 million. The road projects are yet to kick off to date, and there is no clear indication on the same. This has consequently affected connectivity in the areas covered by the roads. Honorable Speaker, I therefore request the chairperson, Committee on Roads, Transport and Public Works, to issue a comprehensive statement outlining the following. 1. Whether the Department of Infrastructure and Public Works is aware that the construction of Mutaba, Githima, and Githima Kamobi roads in Kiptororo Ward has not kicked off. Number 2, plans the county government has put in place to ensure the 2 roads are constructed within the required time. 3, the department to issue timelines in which the construction of the 2 roads will be done. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Bor. Chairman Roads, Vice Chair, any member of the Roads Committee? Thank you. This statement is committed to your committee, and we need the response within 14 days. Next order.
Order number 8, the Nakuru County Gender and Reproductive Health Education Bill 2024, a bill for an act of the County Assembly of Nakuru to provide for the establishment of gender centers, authorization and administration of the gender centers, provision of gender and reproductive health education, establishment and administration of safe houses and for connected purposes. First reading.
The Nakuru County Gender Reproductive Health Education Bill 2024. This bill stands committed to the Committee on Education.
Mr. Speaker.
What is it, Honorable Kanyere?
I have a concern, Mr. Speaker, and I'll address myself in Swahili. Bwana Speaker, katika hii bila ambayo imetangazwa, masuala ya jinsia sana sana yanaangaliliwa na kamiti ya labor na social. So mimi ningependa uangalie mswada vizuri, tuone ya kwamba imekuwa committed kwa labor. Kwa sababu masuala ambaye iko kwa hiyo bill nyingi ni mambo ya kijinsia. Asante.
What is the order? Honorable Grace Mwade.
I stand on order 123. A bill having been read a first time shall stand committed to the relevant sectoral committee without question put. I would ask you, Mr. Speaker, sir, to read again the title of the bill, and then you guide us on where the bill lies, because it is more of gender than the education.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, let me give the Chair Education, Honorable Njoroge, to also give his order.
Mr. Speaker, as the Chair for Education and also the sponsor of the bill, I would want to bring awareness to this House that this bill is about education of those two elements, gender and reproductive health. And that is why we are calling it Gender Reproductive Health Education Bill. So it is about education, Mr. Speaker. It is about creating awareness surrounding those two important issues. Therefore, this bill stands committed to the right committee, Mr. Speaker, without any doubt.
You are saying that you are stressing on the word education. Education. And I think you can still elaborate more. It's like you have some information because you said that you are the sponsor. Possibly you can still expound on the same so that we get more information.
Mr. Speaker, you understand that we are in a society where gender-based violence has become a menace in the society. And the victims are young girls and also young boys. And therefore, this bill seeks to create the awareness on how these issues can be addressed. And that is why this bill seeks to establish gender centers where this education can be impacted to the right people, particularly the victims. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to assure this House that this bill
Point of information, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Committee.
Where does gender centers lie? In education or gender?
Honorable Grace, I have not given you the chance, but you've decided to take it on yourself. So let me officially give you the opportunity.
That is the only question I'm asking, Mr. Speaker, sir, because Honorable PM has said about the gender centers and sensitization. Does it lie on education or gender? That is my question.
So, Honorable Grace, like you want to get more definition of the word gender. So, possibly the Chair Education, you can respond to that. And if there is any other member from the Education Committee, possibly she or he can also assist you. So give more details on the gender issue before we make the ruling.
Mr. Speaker, I would want members to get to understand that one of the objectives and purpose of this act is to access accurate and appropriate information within the gender centers. So it is about information, and it is the education department that will come, will prepare and also come about with the right information that needs to be available or availed at the gender center. So basically, this bill is about education. It is about creating awareness.
Honorable Anne.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. This is a house of order, and we are guided by our standing orders. If you look at the definition of the Committee on Education, it's all about early education and vocational training. So within that, I don't see anywhere gender centers are related. And also, if you look at the mandate of the Labor Gender Committee, it's all matters, and underline all matters relating to gender matters are handled by Labor and Gender Committee. Mr. Speaker, sir, I've taken the time to at least Google what is the definition of gender centers. Gender centers are institutions that are based on gender issues, gender-related issues. Even if you are talking about education, Mr. Speaker, sir, education is a devolved function, and within the county, it's all about early education. So it has, if it's committed to education committee, we are undermining a whole committee on labor and gender, stating that we are not able to handle our issues. And also, Mr. Speaker, sir, if you look at the bill, it's talking about the CEC member of gender will be responsible. So how is it possible that another department, another committee on education is handling a department that is under a whole sectoral committee on labor and gender, Mr. Speaker, sir? So that clarification is very important.
Mr. Speaker.
Possibly, Mr. Chairman, Honorable Chairman, Education, before you give further response, let me give this opportunity to Honorable Nene as you digest those issues.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to support my chairman, Honorable PM, that this bill lies to the Education Committee because education is within a department of education, ICT, and e-government, and it is within that department where information is passed, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, one member is arguing that since there is word gender, this bill should be committed to the Committee of Gender. The other person is arguing that since there is education, this bill should be committed to the Education Committee. But Mr. Speaker, once we have informed the people the need to embrace these centers, it is then when we shall now hand over to the CECM who deals with the gender and related matters. But as per now, this bill belongs to the Education Committee, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Chairman, Education.
Mr. Speaker, it is important to consider the will of the sponsor of the bill, because the sponsor has confidence that once this bill is placed in the Education Committee, they are able to fast-track it within the shortest time possible, ensure that public participation has been done in good time, because they have the goodwill. And Mr. Speaker, the Education Committee
point of information, Mr. Speaker.
Prepare the bill.
Point of information, Mr. Speaker.
Let's give the chairman an opportunity to explain, then I'll give you the opportunity.
But while he's still there, Mr. Speaker, it is wrong for him to allude that the other committee have no capacity. You know, the spirit that he's saying, it's alluding...
Honorable Kanyere, just take your seat, I'll give you
I stand guided, Mr. Speaker, but it should not mislead the House.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, as the Committee of Education, ours is to ensure that the policy is in place, and then the implementers will be gender. So their time will come. Once the bill is in place,
Mr. Speaker,
then we will
sir, a point of information.
We'll hand it over to them to implement.
What is it, Honorable Anne?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I think we are confusing the flow of the House. Are we talking about a policy or are we talking about a bill, Mr. Speaker, sir? Those are two different issues. This is a whole bill talking about gender centers, of which the budget to do with gender centers lies with the Labor and Gender Committee, Mr. Speaker, sir. So the House should guide that committing it to the Education Committee, we are doing the people of Nakuru an injustice, because, Mr. Speaker, sir, just because one is a sponsor doesn't mean that the sponsor automatically takes the bill to where he or she requires. This is a house of rules, Mr. Speaker, and we are guided by the Standing Order 123A.
Honorable Mwangi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is John Masharia, Member of County Assembly, representing the people of Rwanda. Mr. Speaker, it is good for us to be guided by you, through your chair, that this bill belongs to gender. Because the maswala ambayo yanayozungumzwa hapa, Mr. Speaker, ni kuhusu gender, na sio kuhusu early childhood, ama mambo ya masomo. Hii ni mambo ambayo ni bill ambayo itakayopitishwa, ambayo ina constitution mambo ambayo yanayofanyika katika mambo ya gender, reproductive, na mambo kama maswala kama yale. So naamini ya kwamba ni kama chairman wa education anatupotosha kwa kutuambia ya kwamba yeye ndiye anastahili kuipeleka na committee ya education kwa maswala ambao sio hayo ambayo committee yake inashughulikia. Labda kama angeomba ya kwamba awe co-opt katika committee hii. Asante, Mr. Speaker.
I think let me take the last round, and then I will make a ruling on that. Honorable Deputy Majority Leader, Honorable Virginia.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I'm not the Deputy Majority Leader. I'm the Minority Chief Whip, the Minority Party Whip. Mr. Speaker, if you read the title of the bill, it reads, the Nakuru County Gender Reproductive Health Education Bill 2024. That means these bills cut across 3 committees in this House. There is education, there is gender, and there is health for the reproductive health. Mr. Chairman, my 2 cents in this. The chairman education can be the sponsor of the bill, but we can let the bill go to the gender committee, because even the health committee will also be involved. So my take is, this bill can cut across all 3 committees. How the 3 committees will work, it all depends on the ruling of the chair. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Odiai.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sorry. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to request that before you make your ruling, you take us through the standing orders that clearly stipulates the mandate of each and every committee. And then you make your ruling, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Ruto.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Before I give my submission, please let me welcome the students and teachers from Migori. Welcome to this House of Assembly of Nakuru and to Nakuru County at large. Mr. Speaker, as the bill reads, Nakuru County Gender Reproductive Health Education, I think this bill will enable us to equip our people with accurate information about human development, sexuality, reproduction, and health relations that is appropriate for their age and culture, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in other words, this is not, as one of my colleagues has said, an early childhood education. This is something touching on gender, culture, which needs to have a proper approach to the intended audience, Mr. Speaker. I think it should be given to Labour Committee. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I think we'll just give Grace Mother, and then I make the ruling. Honorable Grace.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So now I want to speak as the chair gender. And I want to say this. In part 2 of this bill, it is written about the establishment and administration of gender centers. It says the county executive committee member responsible it can't be committed to the education committee, and yet the gender executive member of the CC gender has the mandate in the formation. My request is, Mr. Chair, we don't refuse our friend and our colleague, Mheshimiwa PM, to be the sponsor of the bill. But then, let it be committed to the relevant committee. It doesn't mean that the gender committee are lesser. Kindly, let him be the sponsor, but the bill should be committed to gender committee. Thank you.
I think I had indicated that Grace will be the last person to point of information from...
Point of information, Mr. Speaker. Mr.
Yes.
Speaker, I feel that the Chair for Gender has misled this House. She has given some erroneous information because if you look at this bill, the implementation of this act, that is number 5, it says, the county executive committee members responsible for gender, education, reproductive health matters shall jointly be responsible for the implementation of this act. So she should not exclude education deliberately just to mislead this House. And Mr. Speaker, members should not have the wrong perception of education department or committee, because it is not only about early childhood and vocation training. Education department is also about e-government and public communication, and this is where we dominantly step in to provide the information that is needed in these gender centers. So my friends, let us agree that this bill is not just about gender. It is about providing the information, relevant information needed on gender and reproductive health. And the Chair for Health is not even complaining. And he's also mentioned. So I wonder why the gender chair is complaining. So Mr. Speaker, the will of this sponsor, with all due respect, with all humility, let us commit it to the Education Committee so that we can set the ball rolling. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Point of information.
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, with all due respect, I will give to Honorable Bor, and then I will make a conclusion.
Honorable Speaker, thank you for allowing me to make my reservations. Just want to say that every member in this House, Honorable Speaker, has got goodwill to undertake what he or she is required to undertake. I want to refer a case when we were participating in the sports, in 2023-2024 sports management bill, which was committed to my committee. I wasn't the sponsor of the bill, but the sponsor felt that it was supposed to be committed to the relevant committee. Mheshimiwa Duale is a chair of security. However, Mheshimiwa Speaker, I want you to use the wisdom of Solomon. If the sponsor of the bill feels that the bill will be safe in his hands, that's like when a child is being conceived. I don't believe that a father can carry a child, but the mother can carry it because she is made in such a way that he has all the features that it can accommodate the conceived baby. Use the wisdom of Solomon. When the two women were actually fighting for the baby, King Solomon realized that this mother, the other one which was saying that this child is not mine, and the other one which was alive is mine. I don't want to complete what was the conclusion, but I do feel that consider the feeling of the mother, the child bearer, and use the wisdom of Solomon and make your ruling. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Point of information.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Order. Take your seats, honorable members.
Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Just take your seats, honorable members. It's a high time that I make a ruling, having made my observation, having heard your contributions. And I want to believe that if we just continue giving our own contributions, there is a possibility that we are going to repeat ourselves. And the bill is clear that it is the Nakuru County Gender and Reproductive Health Education Bill of 2024. And having heard you, look like this bill cuts across. We have the gender in the bill. We have also the department or the committee on the health issues, and also we have the education. Now, all these are very important, and committing it to one department will elicit some reactions again from another department. And for that reason, since we have a common good to ensure that we pass the bills that will actually assist our people, I do hereby say that by the fact that the word gender is used does not necessarily give an automatic possession of the bill by the gender committee. Even the gender itself can still even be used in education or even in health. Another issue is that we have to respect the goodwill and the efforts of the sponsor. The sponsor himself has actually worked tirelessly to ensure that this bill has come to the floor of the House. And therefore, without hesitation, I make a ruling that this bill be committed to the Committee on Education. Next order.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, this House is guided by the standing orders, and we cannot vacate or amend the standing orders on the floor. There is procedures, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am cognizant of the precedents that are set by the chair. And Mr. Speaker, the clerk can tell you that today we were at the liaison committee, and I'm not overruling your ruling chair, or rather the speaker, but going to the future, Mr. Speaker, we ought to be taking the standing orders of the House seriously. Mr. Speaker, on such kind of matter, I know that the indulgence of the chair sports was there, and I'm not saying that this bill or bills of this nature should be actually let us not kill the arms of the House. Mr. Speaker, I would rather that in the future, when such kind of matters have been raised by two teams, it will cause no harm for both committees to be given the responsibility to relook onto the matters of such kind of nature, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, I've interrogated the preliminary and the introductory part of the bill. I've also gone to the object of the bill, and I have looked at the memorandum of the bill, Mr. Speaker. Both committees squarely have been given the mandate. But, Mr. Speaker, in the object of the bill, it is squarely raised under the Gender, Labor, and Culture Committee. But however, Mr. Speaker, because of the made your ruling, we are going to swallow that matter, but going to the future, Mr. Speaker, we will not allow such kind of matter to be taken lightly, Mr. Speaker, because it will not be good. Today and to the future, the precedents are going actually to be relooked. But, Mr. Speaker, I'm guided by order number 1 that gives you the authority
and I respect that, Mr. Speaker. But for the purpose of the guidance of the House, let us be looking at those matters. However, Mr. Speaker, you are the chair of the day, and I respect you, but I also look at the future of the House.
Next order.
Mr. Speaker, those are the orders of the sitting.
Honorable members, this House stands adjourned until next week on Tuesday at 9:30 a.m.